Hi, welcome back to the channel. It's Ian from Peniglen Cabin Life. Welcome back to Wednesday Thoughts down at the cabin. Just bear in mind it is Thursday, I know that. I'm running a day behind. I've been in quite a lot of chaos last few days. I mentioned that yesterday. Today's topic is, isn't it about time the youth of today started respecting our elders? Now, before you put me against the wall and shoot me, the youth of today, what I mean by this is there are some of you, and a lot of you, that do show respect to your elders, but there's also a bigger majority of young uns that don't. And a lot of people my age and older feel exactly the same way as me. Now, if you go back in time, when I was young, you would play out, you'd do all that, and then, like, how can I put it really? The best way to put it, it's like playing out, for instance. You played out, and as a kid, you didn't come back in the house. Because if you came back in the house, it's right, come on, get to bed now, get to bed. And you wouldn't argue with your parent. You wouldn't say, well, no, Dad, I'm going back out now. I've just come for a jumper, I'm going back out. If your dad said, right, if you come in, you're in bed. And you went to bed that way, you didn't argue. Bed. So you didn't come in. That way you didn't get, and then they'll be shouting for you then, saying, come on, in now, come on. But like the youth of today, it's different. You know, they're in and out like a bloody yo-yo. You know, and then they'll say, well, if you come in again, you're in bed. Make sure you're back in 10 minutes. Well, that's it, they bugger off and don't come back, don't they? It's like you go in a shop and you'll be going down the aisle, down the supermarket, and you can hear kids go, oh, I want a bag of that sweets, I want a bag of that. And parents will say, oh, no, you're not having none of that. I am. They pick it up and chuck it in the trolley. It's total disrespect. You know what I mean? It's like kids will cheat you. They cheat teachers. Jesus Christ, are they cheat teachers? I couldn't get that out then. But like, I've got a friend of mine who's a head teacher, and she always used to say to me that the kids of today have no respect compared to what it was in the old days. I've got an auntie that's a retired head teacher as well, and when I went to my sister's wedding, like I mentioned that a long time ago, I went to my sister's wedding about a year ago, and I got a lift in the car off her to the wedding, and I said, hey, how do you feel now as retiring as a teacher? Do you wish you were going back? She says, you're joking, aren't you? I went, no, why? She says, look, when I was a teacher, the pupils did as they were told, and now they run a riot because we have no power. We can't say boo to a goose to the kids, otherwise the parents are coming in. Oh, you've done this to our kid, it said you've done this, and you've done this, you've shouted this, and you've done that. I remember, truthfully, and this is hand and heart, when I went to primary school, I went to Marklandale County Primary School in Bolton, and if I was a bugger in class, the teacher would grab me, Mr. Woodman, he would grab me and he'd say to me, right, go to the hall and pick a bat. I always remember that. Pick a bat, and use like the slow walk all the way there, pick a bat, slow walk back, and he'll put you in the corridor and he'll belt you with the bat, or he'll crack you out back at head, and he'll make you stand outside class for about 10-20 minutes. Your legs will be killing you, you couldn't sit down, you couldn't crouch down on the floor or anything, you had to stand still. And I tell you what, when you came in that classroom, you were good as gold. You never said boo to a goose all day. So, but it's just the way it is now, isn't it? It's like no respect. Like, I've got a friend here who used to be a policeman, and he says the respect bobbies have now is a zero compared to when we were a kid. I remember my brother saying that if you ever, as a kid, you played out and you ever got in trouble with coppers for any reason, they'd say, hey, pack it in now. And you like froze, and you thought, oh, I'll do as I'm told here. I'm not going to get any bother here. And he'd say, right, home. And you'd go home. That were it. You just dispersed, went home, that were it. Done. And then if your mum found out that you'd done something, you know, if the copper had a word with your mum or a neighbour had a word with your mum and they said, you know, well, such a body's done this or such a body's done that, you get a belt off your parent as well. Like now as a parent, you can't give a kid a crack right back at head. I always remember, if I did out wrong, I used to get a crack right at the back of head off my mum, and I tell you what, it bloody hurt and all. She was always giving me a crack for something, and honestly, it's true that she was. You know, and I remember once she used to, she had a spell where she would smack you per word, which is true. It's true that. I am sick of you doing this. Why? Why? She always used to do it, my mum. Smack per word. Now I wonder if anybody else out there whose parents used to do that. Eh? But you wouldn't cheat your mum. You wouldn't dare, would you, as a kid, or your dad? Your dad would come in and that rate you like fear of God. But they don't have that, the kids now, do they? They don't have that fear like they had. But it's not just the kids, it's like teenagers at secondary school. You know, there's just no respect anymore at all. And it's just a breakdown of society. And it's a shame, because what worries me is not just the youth of today that's disrespectful. Them kids are going to grow up and have kids. Now if they're not giving them values to the ones that's already failed, then what's going to happen to the ones that's failed having the next generation? That's what's frightening, isn't it? Because that generation, we've already got a lost generation. So what's the next one going to be like? That's what I want to know. What's the next one going to be like? So that's about it for today. I know I've been rambling a bit, but it's good to get in front of the camera again. So I'll get back into the rhythm of it a bit more in the next few days. So I'll catch up with you soon. I'll see you again next time down at the cabin. Dinky-doo! Stay safe, stay well.